This video interview explores positive narration through culturally responsive lenses. Here, English teacher Jason Medici of Aspire Alexander Twilight Secondary Academy in Sacramento shares his mindset around positive narration by first exploring his self-talk and beliefs about his students. This below the green line, as we say, perspective, provides us educators with insight on the ways that our beliefs and thoughts translate into how we show up for our students.
So my name is Jason Medici. I teach 9th grade ELA and I'm at Alexander Twilight, ATSA. Yeah, so my self-talk, when it comes to my students, it happens all the time, even when I'm at work, when I'm not at work, and I get really kind of emotional when I start thinking about my students and talking to myself about them, and I always remind myself that empathy is just the biggest thing when coming to my students, and I always try to remind myself that they're coming from all these different diverse backgrounds, and some may not be, they may not be coming from the best home backgrounds, and so I always make sure to choose joy and to run my classroom with love, and I remind myself every day to show my students that I love them. Show them, not just say it. So yeah, even when I'm at home and I'm thinking about my students, when I'm grading their work or something, I'm always talking to myself, okay, this student had a bad day this time, this student did excellent this day, and I use that in my feedback, but yeah, my self-talk is ongoing with my students. Oh, that they are all capable of great things. They are. I try to look for the best in each one of my students, no matter their background or how they act in my classroom, and I truly believe that they're all capable of anything that they put their minds to. I was picking some of my students' brains the other day, and they were like, "Mr. Medici, what do you think about me becoming a doctor?" And I'm like, I already saw you as that, like you would be a great, I think that they're so smart, so loving. They just need a chance to be able to show that. Oh yeah, so I'm really big on reading energy. Like I stand at the door and I look every student in the eye when they come into the room, and I just try my best to really feel that student out in that passing moment. And of course there's been times when I can just tell that the student is gonna maybe not have a good day. They're just not their normal selves. They might be in a bad mood. And I just go off the energy. A lot of times I might just let that student just kind of have their space for a little bit, and then I might just connect with them. I kind of just level with them. I'll, hey, what's up? You all right today? You good? Okay. Just most of the time, just that little bit of human interaction with them. Their first interaction with me when they walk into my class is empathetic and loving. Most of the time, that turns it around. Or it will not make them combative. Even if they're still in a funk for the rest of the period, they won't show that funk in my classroom, because they know that I'm there and that I care for them, and that whatever they need, that I will give them. Gosh, no, that doesn't take the power away from me. Absolutely not. If anything, it helps the kid feel more like a human, Yes, they're 9th graders. Yes, they're 14 years old, but they're still human. And I remember when I was 14 years old, there were days where I just needed my space, And so I don't think that takes the power away. I think that it empowers the student, because when I connect with them, I'll say, hey, do you need a little space today? Or are you kind of in the red on the mood meter? What's up? And that kind of puts the power back in their hand. And I think that true leaders share power with, whether that means with their colleagues, with their students, I am a huge advocate for that. And it lets them know that they can advocate for themselves. If they need space, they can tell me that, and I will give them that. And it works wonders. We're all human at the end of the day. So I do not feel that that takes the power away from me. No way. It helps to build community in the classroom, you know, which in the long run helps learning, instruction, community.
I heard you when you were saying that about like sharing power. It just makes me think about redefining what power is and what the role of the power that we wield, right? The role of it, like, and I think we've been taught in our system that power is always connected to control and domination.
Absolutely.
And I think redefining, like you said, I'm hearing power is more about influence, impact, and that it's okay if we give some power away, because it's not like there's enough to go around for all of us.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, this is a school campus. We're a community. Yeah. This is a collaboration. You know, when I do need to step up and be an authoritative figure, I do that, but I only do that when the need absolutely arises. And but my first approach is to share that power, be loving with my kids, and 99.9% of the time they take to that so well. And we get a lot of work and learning done in my class because of that. So the first thing that I'm a huge advocate of is stimulating the senses. So when the kids come in, before they even do anything, they get that fresh smell of apples and cinnamon. That's already calming. And you know, I use my little Glade plugins, and before every period, I'll like make a circle around my class and give a quick spray of, you know, with my sprayers. And so when they come in, they get that nice whiff of a good smell. And then the next thing, the next sense that's stimulated is their hearing. They hear that soft jazz music playing, you know, and they know that you know, when they come in, the first 10 minutes of class is going to be silent, sustained reading. And so that's like 10 minutes of complete silence, and we just dive into our independent reading books. And so when they're reading, you know, it smells good. They got the jazz music playing. I will have a picture of not a picture, but a video of a cafe on my monitor with a little fireplace going. So, you know, that stimulates, you know, what they can see. And that 10 minutes of quiet, with music, with good smells, with a fireplace on my screen, it really, really sets the tone for the rest of the lesson. As soon as SSR is done and we pull out our notebooks and our text, everything's calm, the kids are ready to go, and just those little things just works wonders in my class. And I mean, I do this every single day. So another thing is, and it's not with the senses, but another thing that I do is my presence. No, it's okay, don't worry. Another thing is my presence, you know, like, so when all the kids come into the classroom, you know, I present myself as a confident, you know, teacher, leader, educator. So when they see me, they just look at me and know, you know, okay, Mr. Medici's, you know, he's not going to be a pushover. He knows what he's doing. This is what he expects from us. He's not going to he's not going to continue on until those expectations are reached. And I kind of show that just with the way I stand, with the way I walk around the class. So it's just a combination of things, you know, stimulating the senses, the way that I present myself when I'm walking around. It's a few things. So I never yell at my kids. I will not raise my voice and yell at them. I will never demand that they listen to me. That's not something that I do in my classroom. So of course we have hiccups in the classrooms where kids will, you know, maybe start yelling, acting up a little bit. And, you know, like I said, I don't yell. The tone that I use with my kids is always a loving tone. And I always smile at them, even if they're not doing what they're supposed to. You know, I'll remind them what the expectation is firmly, but with a loving tone. And I'll keep eye contact with them until that expectation is met. And when it's met, I just give them, thank you. You know, like just give them a nice smile and a warm thank you. But the tone that I use with them is very, very important. And it's not just when I'm redirecting them. During instruction, during discussion questions, during redirection, it's always the same consistent, loving tone. They know what to expect out of Mr. Medici every single day. They know that I'm not gonna get upset and yell at them and kick them out of the classroom. They know that I'm gonna approach them with love. They know that I'm gonna have a respectful and loving tone in my voice. And just that it's super proactive, you know, them knowing that, you know, it's a proactive way to go about it. It severs the relationship with the kids. I mean, a lot of times you don't know how the dynamic is at home with the kids and their parents, and how, you know, whether the parents are the ones that are yelling. A lot of the times the school classroom is the only place where some of our kids can get some love and some attention and, you know, positive narration. So coming in as an authoritative figure and trying to lead your class with fear and having that "you're going to listen to what I say" attitude, it automatically butts heads with the students, automatically. And it severs the relationship, and it's really hard to come back from that. It's really, really hard to come back from that. It's just not what I believe in. Well, the main goal, you know, especially here in California, is to foster higher order thinking. And there's a lot of different strategies that we need to, you know, implement in our classroom to get that, which is, you know, it could be like group activities, whatever. But yeah, if you are just this authoritative figure and you're ruling with fear, kids are not comfortable with you. And if they're not comfortable in your classroom, then they're not going to be curious. They're going to be afraid to raise their hands. They're going to be afraid to collaborate with their peers, you know. If kids are not comfortable, higher order thinking can't happen. Curiosity can't happen. The first thing that I would say is to be forgiving and give yourself some grace. It definitely takes a little bit of time to build up those kind of strategies, you know, to get to a place like that. But first and foremost, I always try to remind myself that I was 14 at one point, and I didn't know what was going on in the world. I thought the world revolved around me, you know. So my first, and it's always my first piece of advice for teachers, is to empathize. Empathy is the answer for everything. No, you know, try to remember what kind of population we're dealing with. Try to remember that for a lot of these kids, school is the only place where they may get some attention and some love. And that should direct all of your actions with them, how you approach them. So yeah, if you feel like the class is going crazy, I mean, of course there's tactile things we can do, like resetting and going over expectations, but if you empathize with the kids, if you just approach them with love, if you lead with love, I think everything should fall into place eventually for you. If the kids really know that, if they know that you're really there for them, because they can see right through you. They can see right through you. If they know that you're there for them, they will come around eventually. It may take a little bit of time. They may need to see that you're consistent, because they may not have consistency in their lives. But if they see that you're consistent, if they see that you love them and that you're here for them, they will come around. I can almost guarantee that.
All mics dropped right there.
But I truly believe that. Yeah, I truly believe that.
Yeah, no, I know you do. That was beautiful.
I'm like shaking right now.